Welcome to TradeRep. This is Shorthammer. It is the 16th of October, 2019, and we are taking a peek at Amazon. Now, Amazon did exactly what we were talking about in our video if it broke out to the upside. We were really watching for us to take out the lower channel, which was the 1747-ish, 1746-ish by 1705. So this was the lower channel, this area here. And we were stuck below that. We broke out above it. And you can see the previous channel, the upper 1740s here by the 1833s, 1830s. And then we dropped down to this area where we were below that. So the break above and the push, what are we expecting now? What do we need to watch out for? Well, we need to hold above this 1756. This line right here above, we can be a little bit more bullish. If we get back below this line, we can fade. And what we also want to keep an eye on is this trend line here, maybe off a little bit, is a trend line that goes back. If we zoom out a bit, I don't know if it'll show perfectly. It's not going to show. Oh, okay. It kind of shows on the 4-hour. Is a trend line that goes back to 2016 and it may actually a little bit earlier 2016, but case in point being that when Amazon has interacted with this trend line, buyers have stepped in. And only one of the times that it interacted with this trend line, which I believe was back in 2018, did it pierce, tap the bottom, buyers bought it back up, went on a run. So we have to see what happens here. As far as, do buyers really step in and give us liftoff here? So what we should be keeping a close eye on is earnings. I mean, right now, the trade talks are in phase 1 or whatever the phase thing is. That's going to take weeks to figure out. So that's not pressing at the moment. Also, interest rates, that conversation is going to happen at the end of the month. And even though we may have economic numbers before then, a lot of individual tickers are going to be driven by earnings. Amazon has earnings coming up, what I believe to be the 24th of October, so next week. So we should definitely see some movement in Amazon, whether strong to the upside or strong to the downside. But either way, we should have range. So what we want to watch for, just intraday, watch for any pullbacks to 1756 and buyers to step in. If we pull back below that, we definitely want to hold the upper 1740s. So we want to hold above the 1747.35 area, and preferably above the 1762 and 1756, but definitely above the 1747 area. If we get below this back test and start to go to the downside, then we're back in this lower channel, 1705 by 1747s, 1746s. And that's not what we want. What we want to do is remain in this channel and for the buyers to step in and squeeze us to the upside through the 1792s, 98s, the 1805s to really give us a run back towards the upper end of this channel here. Let's look at the lower time frame to see what happened intraday on Amazon as far as on a 5-minute chart. And there we go. So this is our 5-minute chart. So at the open, Amazon did go and look to break the pre-market high. And we pulled back a little bit, pushed up again, pulled back again, and then we broke this little downtrend here to the upside. Now, what we really wanted to watch for was a new high a day. And we got that right around here, the 1749-ish area. A break above that should have been a sign for us at breaking to the 1750s. Should have been a sign for us to look for a position because it broke above the 1747s and held. And actually, you see the bullish candles as we got above that, held above all EMAs, and we just took off to the upside. We ripped through the 1756s, sort of went sideways a little bit of light consolidation, then took another leg to the upside. So this is very strong movements on Amazon, and we'll see if they continue. But intraday, we could have watched the pre-market highs, and also you could have watched the pre-market lows. Then a break of that could have been a entry. And if you looked around at the rest of the market, and this is what's interesting about Amazon, the Amazon was down while the rest of the market was up. The SPY was up, Microsoft was up, Apple was up, the SPX, just looking all around the futures, everything was running and ripping. Futures popped the 2983 area and really started to push. And Amazon was really the only ticker of that bunch that was down. So that was a sign where there was no bad news on Amazon that I saw, that it should have been a signal of a dip buy to be able to get in on Amazon and keep a tight stop on this. So if on any of these dips you jumped into Amazon, you had to keep your stop around this 1739 area. And that's where you'd have to stop out. A break below and hold below that would have been your stop out. But instead, buyers stepped in and took us to the upside. So nice follow through on Amazon. And today we're going to watch for a hold of these upper levels and a potential break of the 1776s, which is what we want. But we'll see if we see a retrace. Right now, the futures pull back a little bit. We'll see if we see a retrace a little bit lower to the 1750s, 1756-ish, or 1762s. If we see a retrace to that, then buyers step in. Here you can see there's a little bit of structure here at 1760. So an initial drop and then a buyback up wouldn't be surprising to me, just looking at this structure here and looking at the pullback so far. So it wouldn't be surprising if we dropped a little bit lower into this structure, and then buyers stepped in. So we'll see. We'll be watching that. I'll mark my pre-market levels and also look at the previous day's high and the swing low waves. And we'll see if we get a retrace here for a potential long entry on Amazon, or if the market is bearish today and Amazon really pulls back and drops below the 1756s, then I would be looking for a short setup to get in based on candle structure. So either way, I tend to try to follow the trend of the day. And if we're range bound, then I try to determine the range and then try to play the extremes of the range for a retracement back to the mean.